Hi everyone. Today we are going to be reviewing what we did in week 2 of English class. We are going to talk about infinitive verbs, the verb to be, the verb to like, and the word is. We're going to do some practice with conversations and a short reading. So today is just a review. Nós vamos praticar pouco. If you guys want to pause, se você querem pausar o vídeo enquanto eu estou falando, while I'm talking, you can practice. So this will be a very quick, muito rápido review. So the first thing we talked about is the infinitive of verb. So basically, in Portuguese, at the end of a verb, verbo, we have this, are. This tells us that it is a verb. It's an action, something that we can do, que nós podemos fazer, okay? And so sometimes you have AR, sometimes you have ER, but the words always look like this, fazer. You can change it. It can say faço, right? But in the infinitive form, the most basic form, it looks like this, fazer. In English, all of the verbs end differently. So instead, we have to put this word to in front, but only in the infinitive. So basically, for example, I have to go. In Portuguese, eu tenho que ir. So what is happening is we are changing, nós estamos mudando ter to be tenho. Same in English, I have, I in do. But because we have this word ir, right? We have to put in to go. We cannot just say I have go. We have to say I have to. Because if we said I have go, it's the same as eu tenho vou. We don't say that. We say eu tenho que ir. And so to go just tells us that it is a verb in its basic form. So we will practice this more, but this is just so you guys have an idea when we are talking why we put to. To want is exactly equal to querer, okay? Exactly. If you type on Google Translate, que significa querer in English, vai dizer to want, okay? So just so we can see this word. So that is the infinitive of verb. We will continue to practice this. All right, next, we did some conversation practice. So if you would like to practice at home, our question was, what is your favorite food? And the way you would answer this is by saying my favorite food is. So here you would think of examples. My favorite food is picanha. My favorite food is rice, just for us to practice. So if you want to write, se você quer me escrever uma resposta que diria what you would say, you can practice with this conversation practice. Next, we answered the question, when do you go to work? So again, practicing with our question words, when, quando, when do you go to work? I go to work at, and it can be anything. We talked about some examples, morning, night, work on Sundays. I go to work on Fridays, okay? So different times. All right. Next, we learned a new verb. We learned the verb to be in English. And so we talked about how in Portuguese we have two verbs, ser e estar. And these mean different things because ser is more permanent, right? Eu sou uma mulher. Não vai mudar. It's not going to change. Estar is more temporary. Pode mudar. Como estou feliz hoje, right? An emotion. So there are two different contexts to use ser y estar. But in English, we only have one word, to be. So it's very easy because every time you would use ser or estar, you can use to be in English. So we did some practice. The ways that we conjugate or we change the verb in the present tense, we say I am, you are, he or she is, and then we are, they are, and you all are. Okay? I am, you are, he or she is, we are, they are, you all are. So this verb is irregular, irregular, because it is not all the same. So we need to pay attention when we use are, when we use am, and when we use is. So some example sentences. I am a woman. She is Brazilian. This class is important. They are at work. And so, for example, in Portuguese, you would say, é importante, no? And you would say, estou no trabalho. But we always use are and is the same. So if you want to practice, you can pause the screen. I'm happy today. What do we think? All right, and the answer is I am happy today because we are using I, eu. Next, pause. All right, they are cooking. Are is the form that we use with they or ele, ela. All right, pause. All right, you are at the beach. We use are with you. All right. The next verb that we learned is to like, which translates to gostar. But something important, in Portuguese, you always have gostar de. Eu gosto dessa aula, right? But in English, we don't use anything else. We just say to like, okay? So, for example, I like, you like, we like, they like, you all like. He or she is different, é diferente, porque sempre quando nós temos he or she, nós temos que adicionar R, okay? So no R, S. He or she likes. All right? Likes. And a little note about pronunciation. In Portuguese, when you see E, you usually pronounce it noite. But in English, E's sometimes can be silent at the end of words. Okay, so we will say like, not likey, like. It can be a little difficult, but same thing with the word to have. We do not say to have. We want to say have. This E is silent, silenciado, okay? All right, really good. So some example sentences. The kids like ice cream. My brother likes to run. My brother likes. The mom does not like the rain. So next week, we will talk about negative sentences when you do not have or when you do not like. We will practice that next week in week 3. The mom does not like the rain. Here are some practices you can do by yourself. So if you pause, we can continue. All right, the girl likes to swim. The boy likes the store. I like pizza. They like to cook. We like school. Do you like me? And I like math. All right, we will continue. Some conversation practice you can write, pode escrever, or falar. What food do you like? And then you would answer, diria, I like pizza, I like picanha. It's similar to our first question, a primeira pergunta. All right, what food do you like? I like anything, qualquer coisa. Another question, what do you like to do? To do significa fazer. What do you like to do? I like to swim, nadar. I like to read, ler. You can practice. What do you like to do? All right. Here is some practice. You can pause. This class is important. So what I want to talk to you guys about now is the idea of this sentence, this class. It is not a person. Before we were only talking about people, right? I, you, we, they. What happens if we are not describing a person? If we want to describe uma aula, a class, grupo, uma coisa, a thing, we are going to use the word it, okay? So it describes coisas, but it can be many things. What I want to show you is that it follows the rules of he and she, okay? Sigue as regras de ele e ela, okay? When we are changing the verbs, quando nós estamos mudando os verbos, okay? So what can be it in a sentence? It can represent the store, a loja, the city, a cidade, the phone, o telefone, the team, and the class. Okay, so things or places or groups. All right, that is what it can be. So, for example, if we want to say the city is beautiful, if we want to talk about the city, we will use the verb that goes with it, that matches or is the same as he and she. Okay, so we will use is. So some practice sentences. The store is, and you can pause and write your own sentences as frases for every photo. Okay, so in our class, we talked about the store is busy, many people, muitas pessoas, okay? The city is beautiful, beautiful. We could say the phone is small, pequeno. The team is happy, feliz, happy. And the class is fun, divertido. Okay? So we always use is in the present tense. Now, one more thing. If we have a singular, one city, uma cidade, we are going to use it, is. But what happens if we have two cities, duas cidades? We are going to use they, are. So if we say the city is beautiful, we will say the cities, multiple, duas cidades, are beautiful. The same way, a cidade é linda. The same thing, as cidades são lindas. Okay? So we will use are. So we can say here, if we want to make more than one, mais que the stores are busy. The phones are small. All right? So if it is more than one, we use are. If it is só podemos usar is. Okay. So is can also be used in expressions, expressões, and we need to put it in the front of some sentences because every sentence, cada frase in English needs, precisa un sujeto. We cannot have, for example, é importante, just like in Portuguese. Even though sabemos que nós estamos falando sobre uma aula, por exemplo, the class, eu gosto dessa aula, é importante. I like this class, it is important. In English, we cannot say é importante. We have to say it is important. It doesn't make sense, não faz sentido só dizer is important, okay? So you will see it many times at the front of a sentence. So some examples, it is sunny today. Não é soleado. We have to say it is sunny today. What time is it? It is 4 p.m. So it doesn't always refer to something specific. Just a word, uma palavra que precisamos ter presente. We have to have present in the sentence. It is important to go to work. It. It is good to see you. Que bom te ver. This is a very important expression. It is good to see you. So also maybe you notice it is good. It is important. Those are examples of when we see it in the front. It is my birthday today. So for an example conversation, why is it important to go to work? It is important because, and then we talked about some reasons. So this is good to practice pronouncing and speaking. Then we looked at some in context examples. So na vida real life, where do we see the word it? So we looked at some COVID-19 fact sheets and we looked at the way they use the word it. So for example, this COVID-19 sheet says it can cause mild illness. It can cause severe illness. We also looked at some other questions. What is it? So instead of saying o que é, we have to say what is it? It is a virus. It is spread. So these are some close context. I will attach these. Eu vou mandar these flyers também. So, então você pode ler if you're interested. So it is good to notice quando vocês estão lendo, escutando. Listen, where do you hear the word it? Where do we see the word it? So here are the flyers, closer, mais perto. All right. And there is a short reading, algo para ler. If you are interested in practicing, eu vou ler, I will read it so that you guys can practice repeating and thinking about the text. This year has been full of bad news because of COVID-19. Now there is good news in the fight against the virus. Scientists made a vaccine. It has a 90% success rate and no serious side effects. A top infectious diseases doctor said, the results are really quite good. I mean, extraordinary. Health experts say it will be months before we get the vaccine. It must be kept at negative 80 degrees Celsius. One drug company said, today is a great day for humanity. We are reaching this important time when the world needs it most. Infection rates are rising and hospitals are full, but we are closer to ending this global health crisis. So we will read this in week 3. Let's start to notice it has a 90% success rate. It will be months. It must be kept. So we see the word it many times. All right. So that was week 2. We did infinitive verbs, the verb to be, the verb to like, the word it, some conversation practice, and some reading. If you guys have questions, please send me a message. Pode mandar mensagem, okay? All right. Thank you.